What if I told you the most powerful healing tools on the planet aren't locked in a lab? They're sitting in your kitchen right now, and almost nobody's using them right. Most people think healing comes from a prescription, a pill, a specialist. But for thousands of years, before any of that existed, certain foods did the job instead. Foods that calmed inflammation. Foods that rebuilt damaged tissue. Foods that fixed digestion in a single sitting. Today I'm showing you 12 of them. Real foods, real mechanisms, no fluff. And I'm telling you right now, number 7 is one most people throw away without realizing it's the most healing part of the meal. And number 11 has been studied for its effect on joint pain so consistently that some researchers compare it to over-the-counter anti-inflammatories. If you want real food science, no supplements to sell you, just the truth about what's already in your kitchen, hit subscribe and let's get into it. 1. Bone broth, the original repair food. Let's start with something your grandmother probably made without ever calling it medicine. Bone broth is bones, connective tissue, and water, simmered low and slow for 12 to 24 hours. That long cook time breaks down collagen into gelatin and releases amino acids like glycine and proline, the same building blocks your body uses to repair gut lining, joints, and skin. Studies on glycine specifically show it supports the tight junctions in your intestinal wall, the seal that, when it breaks down, lets undigested particles leak into your bloodstream and trigger inflammation. That's the mechanism behind why bone broth has been the go-to recovery food for sick people across nearly every traditional culture on Earth. The catch: the broth in most grocery store cartons is cooked for under an hour. That's flavored water, not bone broth. Real bone broth gels when refrigerated. If it doesn't set into a jiggly layer, the collagen never properly broke down. Traditional use: 1 cup daily, especially during illness or after physical strain. 2. Raw honey, nature's only self-preserving food. Here's something that should be impossible. Raw honey doesn't spoil. Archaeologists have found 3,000-year-old honey in Egyptian tombs that was still edible. The reason matters more than the trivia. Honey's low moisture content and natural hydrogen peroxide production create an environment hostile to almost every pathogen known. That same property is why raw honey has been used on wounds for centuries, and why modern hospitals now use medical-grade honey dressings for burns and ulcers that won't heal with standard treatment. Beyond wounds, raw honey contains enzymes, antioxidants, and trace pollen that pasteurization destroys. Research has shown raw honey to be effective at suppressing nighttime cough, in some studies outperforming over-the-counter cough syrup. The critical detail: the honey in most squeeze bottles is heat-processed and filtered, stripping out the enzymes and pollen that make it medicinal. Raw honey is cloudy, eventually crystallizes, and never says ultra-filtered on the label. Traditional use: 1 tablespoon daily or directly on a minor wound or burn. 3. Turmeric milk, golden milk, the anti-inflammatory nightcap. In India, this drink has a name, haldi dood, and it's been given to sick children for generations, decades before anyone isolated the compound responsible. That compound is curcumin, and the research on it is substantial. Curcumin has been shown to inhibit the same inflammatory pathways targeted by several pharmaceutical anti-inflammatories, without the same side effect profile. Studies on joint pain, recovery from exercise-induced soreness, and even mood have all pointed in the same direction. But here's what almost nobody knows. Curcumin on its own is barely absorbed by your body. The traditional preparation: turmeric heated in warm milk with a pinch of black pepper and a fat source like ghee, isn't a flavor choice. Piperine in black pepper increases curcumin absorption by up to 2,000%, and the fat helps carry it across the gut wall. Skip either one, and you're wasting most of the turmeric. Traditional use: 1 warm cup before bed, made with turmeric, black pepper, and a fat like milk or ghee. 4. Wild-caught sardines, the most underrated anti-inflammatory food on Earth. If I told you the single best food source of omega-3s wasn't salmon, would you believe me? Sardines pack more EPA and DHA per serving than almost any other commonly eaten fish, alongside calcium from their edible bones, vitamin D, and selenium. Because they're small and low on the food chain, they accumulate far less mercury than larger fish like tuna or swordfish, making them one of the few fish you can eat several times a week with no toxicity concern. The omega-3s in sardines directly compete with the inflammatory compounds your body produces from excess omega-6 intake, the kind found in most processed seed oils. Multiple studies link regular oily fish consumption with reduced markers of systemic inflammation, improved cardiovascular markers, and better mood regulation through the same omega-3 pathways implicated in depression research. Traditional use: 2 to 3 servings a week, ideally canned in olive oil rather than soybean or vegetable oil. 5. Raw cacao, the bitter medicine your brain has been missing. Chocolate, in its original form, was consumed as medicine for thousands of years before it became candy. Raw cacao is one of the richest dietary sources of flavonoids and magnesium on the planet. Flavonoids from cacao have been shown in clinical research to improve blood flow to the brain, support healthy blood pressure, and even improve insulin sensitivity. The magnesium content addresses a deficiency so common that some researchers consider it a quiet driver of fatigue, muscle cramps, and poor sleep across the general population. The transformation from raw cacao to commercial chocolate strips, almost everything beneficial. Heavy processing, alkalization, and the addition of sugar and milk fat dilute the flavonoid content dramatically. What's left is closer to a dessert than a medicine. Traditional use: 1 to 2 tablespoons of raw cacao powder daily, in a smoothie or warm drink, unsweetened or lightly sweetened with raw honey. 6. Liver. Yes, organ meat. Nature's most concentrated multivitamin. This is the one people make a face at before I even finish the sentence. Stay with me. Liver from grass-fed beef or pasture-raised chicken contains more usable vitamin A, B12, iron, and folate per gram than almost any other food on the planet, including the vegetables people assume are nutritional superstars. The vitamin A in liver is in its active retinol form, immediately usable by your body, unlike the plant-based beta-carotene your body has to convert with limited efficiency. Every culture that hunted or raised animals for food prioritized the organs, often eating them before the muscle meat. That wasn't superstition. Iron deficiency, a major driver of fatigue and impaired immune function, responds dramatically to liver consumption because the iron is heme iron, the form your body absorbs far more efficiently than the iron in plant foods. Traditional use: 2 to 4 ounces once or twice a week. If the taste is a barrier, finely grated frozen liver mixed in a ground meat dishes is a traditional workaround used across multiple cuisines. 7. Citrus pith and peel, the part you're throwing away. I told you at the start this one would surprise you. Here it is. When you peel an orange or lemon and eat only the flesh, you're discarding the pith, that white, bitter layer, and the zest. That's a mistake. The pith and peel contain dramatically more fiber and significantly more of a flavonoid called hesperidin than the fruit's flesh. Hesperidin has documented effects on vein and capillary strength, and research has linked citrus peel compounds to improve cholesterol metabolism and reduced inflammation. Effects the juice and flesh alone don't replicate nearly as strongly. The fiber in the pith also slows sugar absorption from the fruit itself, which is part of why eating a whole orange affects blood sugar very differently than drinking orange juice. Traditional use: eat citrus with some of the white pith intact, and use grated zest in food and tea rather than discarding it. 8. Sprouted lentils, the seed that becomes a different food. Soaking and sprouting a lentil doesn't just change its texture, it changes its biochemistry. Dry lentils contain phytic acid and enzyme inhibitors that block mineral absorption and make them harder to digest, part of why beans have a reputation for digestive discomfort. Sprouting activates the seed's own enzymes, breaking down those anti-nutrients, increasing vitamin C content from essentially 0 to meaningful levels, and dramatically improving protein digestibility. Research on sprouted legumes shows increased availability of iron, zinc, and folate compared to the same legume unsprouted. The sprouting process essentially pre-digests part of what your gut would otherwise have to work hard to break down. which is why sprouted legumes are tolerated by many people who react poorly to regular beans and lentils. Traditional use: sprout for 2 to 3 days until a small tail emerges. Then eat raw in salads or lightly cooked. 9. Ginger, the root that outperforms motion sickness pills. Ginger has one of the longest, most consistent track records of any food studied for nausea, and the research backs the tradition almost perfectly. Multiple clinical trials have found ginger as effective as standard anti-nausea medication for motion sickness, morning sickness in pregnancy, and chemotherapy-induced nausea, without the sedative side effects. The compounds responsible, gingerols and showgales, also have documented anti-inflammatory effects comparable in mechanism to NSAIDs, which is part of why ginger has shown up consistently in research on muscle soreness and menstrual pain. Fresh ginger and dried ginger aren't interchangeable. Drying concentrates the compound shogal, making dried ginger more warming and better suited for inflammation and pain, while fresh ginger's gingerol content is more directly tied to its anti-nausea effect. Traditional use: fresh ginger tea for nausea, steep 10 minutes. Dried ginger or ginger shots for inflammation and joint discomfort. 10. Whole eggs with runny yolks. The most misunderstood food of the last 50 years. For decades, the egg yolk was treated like a health hazard. That advice has been substantially reversed by the research, and the yolk is where almost everything valuable in the egg actually is. The yolk contains choline, a nutrient critical for brain function and liver detoxification that most people don't get enough of. It contains lutein and zeaxanthin, the same antioxidants that protect your eyes from age-related decline, in a form your body absorbs efficiently because of the yolk's fat content. It also contains the majority of the egg's vitamin D, B12, and vitamin A. Cooking the yolk hard doesn't remove these nutrients, but a runny or soft yolk preserves heat-sensitive compounds slightly more effectively, and the existing research connecting egg consumption to cardiovascular risk has largely not held up under more rigorous, modern study designs that control for other dietary factors. Traditional use: whole eggs, yolk included, several times a week, from pasture-raised hens when possible for a better fatty acid profile. 11. Tart cherry, the joint pain fix hiding in plain sight. This is the one I promised you. The research on tart cherry for pain and inflammation is some of the most consistent in all of functional food science. Tart cherries are unusually concentrated in anthocyanins, the compounds responsible for their deep red color, which have demonstrated anti-inflammatory effects comparable in several studies to common over-the-counter pain relievers, without the same impact on the stomach lining or kidneys with long-term use. Multiple trials on tart cherry juice have shown measurable reductions in exercise-induced muscle soreness, faster strength recovery, and reduced markers of inflammation after intense physical activity. There's a second, separate effect. Tart cherries are one of the few natural food sources of melatonin, which is part of why tart cherry juice has been studied specifically for improving sleep quality and duration, particularly in people with insomnia. Traditional use: 8 ounces of tart cherry juice or a handful of tart cherries, in the evening or after intense exercise. 12. Fermented cod liver oil, the forgotten fat-soluble powerhouse. We'll close with the one traditional cultures treated almost like a sacred substance. Fermented cod liver oil, made by slowly fermenting cod livers rather than heat extracting the oil industrially, retains naturally occurring vitamin A, vitamin D, and omega-3 fatty acids in a form researchers believe is more stable and bioavailable than heat-processed versions. Weston A. Price, a dentist who studied isolated traditional populations in the early 20th century, documented dramatically lower rates of tooth decay and developmental issues in groups that consumed fermented fish liver oils as a dietary staple compared to those eating modern, processed diets. The combination of vitamin A and D together is significant. Research suggests these two fat-soluble vitamins work synergistically, and that vitamin D supplementation alone, without adequate vitamin A, may not deliver the same benefit observed when both are present together as they naturally are in this food. Traditional use: 1 teaspoon daily, traditionally given to children throughout the winter months to support immunity and bone development. 12 foods. Thousands of years of use between them. And every single one was sitting in a kitchen somewhere, doing its job quietly, before anyone needed a study to prove it worked. Here's what I want you to take from this. None of these are exotic. None of these require a prescription or a specialist. They require you to look at what's already available differently, to stop treating food as just calories and start treating it as the tool it's always been. Quality matters here more than almost anywhere else. Raw honey, not the ultra-filtered kind. Real bone broth, not flavored water. Pasture-raised eggs and grass-fed liver where you can get them. The difference between the real version and the shortcut version of these foods is, in some cases, the entire difference between medicine and a snack that shares its name. Tell me in the comments, which one of these are you already eating, and which one are you trying first? I read every comment. If this helped you see your kitchen differently, subscribe, hit the bell, and I'll see you in the next one.